All to the Go Mode Podcast Gold Sword semifinals. We have PowerToMario versus Shinmaru. PowerToMario with a upset in their first brackets, moving on to the next stage. Shinmaru winning their bracket. My name is DeepFried87. I am joined by AryaStark. How are you?
I'm doing great. DeepFried, happy to be here for what should be a really competitive and exciting match.
Yes, indeed. We have a standard randomized swords match here. So we are going to see what we get right off the bat. It's a great test of execution right off here. And we get a fire rod start. One of the easier starts in this game. Just a little more difficult to search for bumps.
Yeah, although I'm sure that players will enjoy not having to see things go a little squirrely as they can with some of the tougher starting items. But again, these players did not get here by luck. They are very skilled.
Sorry about that, folks. Minor technical difficulty there. Do not see where they picked up the blue boomerang, but they have the blue boomerang already in their inventory, making those NMG strats a little, well, almost NMG strats. For grabbing that can be a little easier. Looks like we've also gotten a 20 drop somewhere.
And bombs in Zelda Cell, which, as you noted at the outset, you definitely want to not have to grind for bombs so that you can full clear this escape. And that has been taken care of.
Yes, indeed. Now the only thing is, don't miss the key wrap. So,
Shinmaru, apologies.
Go for it. No, go for it.
Just to your point about, don't miss the key rat, Shinmaru opted for, some pot strats down in the cell to conserve magic, to avoid any potential disaster, most likely. And just a few second loss in time, but you never know if something weird can happen.
Very true. Very true. With this being the escape and it being fairly straightforward for this, where do you go after? Where do you think our runners are going to go after taking the initial open here? Do we think we're going to see any divergence, or you think we're going to end up with the standard CAC go play?
3 bombs, 70 rupees. My initial thought would be to at least push to the woods and then potentially reevaluate. What about you?
Yeah, in this spot, unless I find something really heading over to CAC, maybe Lumberjack, maybe checking out just what we're doing, getting the early route down and getting it efficient. Because efficiency is what's going to win most of these games when the execution is as tightly matched as it is here.
Absolutely.
And while we have a minute here,
It's
in
not
the
100%. Apologies.
no, you're good. There we go. Last fire rod shot. PowerToMario getting that key rat. There we go. And Shinmaru picking it up early. I was going to say, well, we have a moment here with not a whole heck of a lot of action. Was just going to thank Tim, thank everybody from the Go Mode podcast, all the mentors and everybody for putting this on and bringing us up to speed with just improving everybody's skill. It's a great thing for the community. Just wanted to give a shout out to everybody while we were in Escape.
Yeah, I completely concur. Having participated as you have as well, it's been a tremendous learning experience. I highly recommend checking out the podcast, checking out the Discord. If you are considering getting involved in any way, I have not found a more welcoming community. There are so many people just willing to give their time and energy to help you enjoy something that they enjoy as well.
I very much concur. And so far, we did find flippers in the back of Escape, but I don't think that changes much of anything for the initial route here. And looks like PowerToMario is saying no to the Lumberjack check. We'll see if that comes back and bites, or if both of our runners are going to skip it.
Shinmaru is heading north. Get the bush crab look. And a lamp in the woods for PowerToMario.
Was that an 8-bomb drop out of the bush crabs?
It certainly looked like it, yes.
That is super convenient going into Kakariko here. And let's see real quick, what dish we have on Lumberjack? We have just a piece of heart, so PowerToMario not gonna be taking any time loss, not checking it now. But yeah, this was always one of my favorite games, and the fact that the randomizer exists and just breathing new life into the game besides just running NMG is just so awesome. And the logic puzzle of the game, trying to figure out where the breadcrumbs are trying to lead you, where the seed is breeding, is obviously what draws just about all of us to the game and just makes it so much fun. So we'll see where the breadcrumbs lead here and where our runners decide to go after Cac, because it doesn't look like there's much of anything here in the blind side.
Wondered if perhaps Shinmaru might consider a South Shore dip, given that 8-bomb drop you mentioned earlier. In hopes of just maybe find the flute, find a bottle to just fully clean out Kakariko here. But there's obviously nothing wrong with going into the densest area of the checks here and clearing them out. That's our first sword.
Nice to find a sword early, but second one of those or if we find the cape, is going to put Castle Tower into logic here, and you know we'd prefer to see a glove and the hammer to not need to climb the tower, but it seems to me, at least lately, I've felt like we have been hit with a glut of Aga seeds.
Aga has made his presence felt. But for the runner's sake, let's hope that, again, we can get our Dark World access before the Aga starter pack is filled out.
Blink and you miss it. I saw at least one crystal over on Eastern Palace, but that was so quick. Did you catch what the other ones were?
I wanted to say that Hera was a crystal and potentially 5/6, but I would not stake my life on it.
I think that's who our how our tracker has it labeled here. Akuheish, behind the scenes, pushing the buttons for us, making our lives easier. And with not finding a whole heck of a lot in Kakariko, PowerToMario is just gonna blind do the race game here.
Respect it. PowerToMario likes to make some exciting plays. I like that. I admire the way he just goes for it sometimes. Not a huge payout here, obviously, but appreciate the moxie.
Yes, indeed. And Shinmaru trying to get $100 from the bottle vendor, but was just a little bit too far to the right, and the statue pulling aggro. We're gonna do that trick. You got to be a little bit further to the left to make that work and make it that your bottle vendor pulls aggro for the beat.
Fortunately for the players, they found a bottle in CAC, which opened up that extra check, and unfortunately, it just didn't yield anything. PowerToMario giving us a first look at South Shore here. Skipping the dam for now.
Yeah, with the new meta that's been coming out, or at least been shown in this one, there's a lot of players that are doing mini Moldorm to Ice Rod and then going Dam to Akina and pairing those two checks together. There's our Moon Pearl. And an Ether. And the bow. Okay, mini Moldorm Cave was stacked. And PowerToMario saving quitting right out.
Yeah, Eastern fully clearable here. And PowerToMario making a beeline right to the Saha Eastern area.
Following the ABCD of the Link to the Past, always be clearing dungeons.
We are getting that dam check from Shinmaru. Presumably he will also be heading to the loaded up mini Moldorm cave after this. And oh, the shovel. So exciting.
If you're gonna find a fetch quest, early's when to find it. Ooh. Oh. Saha being a little vain, having a mirror in his back room.
Shinmaru is following that meta that you just noted, heading to the desert area rather than mini Moldorm after the dam. Check out the ledge, which was that Samaria?
I think that was Samaria.
Well then. And Aku is confirming that it was Samaria on the ledge, so that's some nice early info for Shinmaru.
And it looks like Akina not having the goods, just having the red boomerang, which is the better or worse boomerang, depending on your opinions.
Not much for PowerToMario in the first check of Eastern, and we got the big key early here as well. Have to figure that Shinmaru will probably be right on his heels after clearing mini Moldorm here, potentially tossing in Ice Rod Cave to get that out of the way, but we shall see.
Looks like Shinmaru's walking out. Might be doing mini Moldorm and has the flippers. Might be pairing that in with the flipper checks before heading over to the eastern area. But likely after finishing this round, we'll pair everything together. It's just a matter of when you want to get this done, and maybe looking for those boots before trying to head into eastern. It does speed that up considerably.
Yeah, it would be an outstanding find for sure here. It is always questionable with those early flippers. When do you make that push up to the Zora area if you don't have money? And a lot of people have very different opinions on it. None necessarily more valid than others.
And Shinmaru not going back to do flippers, unless jumping down here. No, looks like headed up towards Eastern, so we're gonna have to wait a little while longer to see those flipper checks.
It looks like Eastern is pretty much just going to be the crystal coming out of it here. PowerToMario just finding money and bombs along the way.
Yeah, but at this point, we've seen pretty much everything but the flippers checks and that shovel. So one of those two, gotta have our progression.
And we are still hurting for Dark World access. So even after clearing a crystal dungeon here, players still have to be thinking that Aga could very much be in play early on.
Very true. Otherwise, so going to be tough. But you know, things like if you end up getting a glove that opens up some of the mountain, you get the book that can get cane and whatever's in desert. So there's plenty of things that can be led here. It does not have to just be Aga, but is looking kind of that way.
Very nice job by PowerToMario against Armos Knights. The last one just slipped out of rhythm, but he recovered with ease to finish that fight off for his first crystal.
And now we're seeing the covering of the routes where PowerToMario is going and doing what Shinmaru's already done while Shinmaru is following up. So are we going to converge over the flipper checks? Ooh, Shinmaru going for the bow strats there and just a touch too high and end up spawning that bottom Stalfos. And PowerToMario not scouting out the ledge. Doesn't have boots, doesn't want to do it quick. Completely understand this. This was one of the things that some of the mentors say, if you're going to do it, you know, you don't check the ledge unless you have boots. It's good information in this case, but we don't know, you know, when we're going to have our desert access. We could be a flute and two gloves away before we ever see that cane scenario.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And as you say, it's certainly justifiable to want to make that quick dip into Agina and get out and head to the other checks. In this case, we do know that the desert ledge is a pretty critical piece of information.
Ooh, and Shinmaru struggling with the damage boost strat here over in Eastern. Gonna have to kill the room. That's gonna take some time. And there we have a glove at shovel.
Oh boy. Shovel. Always a fun check, no matter what.
Well, if we're gonna find fetch quests, I'd rather find them earlier rather than later. Where are you going, Mario? Oh, Mario forgetting that this is the standard seed. It's gonna drop down into the back. Oh, no.
Oh,
Doing Houlihan.
Houlihan, yeah, has the flippers. And yeah, this is a thing that on the back of your mind, Shinmaru in Eastern is grinding out some rupees as well. Yeah, the players definitely have it on their mind, as you noted, that the flipper checks are primary among the remaining things left. You really don't want to go up to that Zora area shy of money and have to go back and grind for that one last check.
But with that glove, that is another piece of our Dark World access. So do we find another sword and or cape first, or do we find another the hammer and or another glove first? Let's get our predictions going in chat. Which way do we think we're going to end up? Do you think we got to climb the tower to get into the Dark World, or do you think we're going to end up being able to go the convenient way?
It's always an interesting consideration when it comes down to these one items, and as you noted, though, finding something like the glove that puts the outset of the mountain in logic, plus the mirror puts Hera in logic. So fortunately for the players, there are additional checks that have come open before they feel that they may have to commit one way or the other if something pops up here in the Zora area flipper checks. Nice job by Shinmaru, yeah.
Yeah, another clean fight over in Eastern, and Shinmaru going to get his glove. Meanwhile, PowerToMario lifting up the rock here. Good game knowledge, knowing that there's 20 rupees here and only needing to get in twice to be able to farm for the Zora money. Gotta have it heading up there where we'll see if Shinmaru does a Houlihan to be able to get the extra, or if they decide to go up the mountain.
Looks like a mountain push from Shinmaru, so we're going to have some key divergence to these two primary checks that are looming right now.
And there's our answer. That is our first part of Dark World. We have the Titan's Mitts in the Waterfall Fairy Cave.
Terrific find there for PowerToMario. Again, Shinmaru does have a clear opening to topple Hera here, but he's going to need to get to that. Unless we find Hammer here, he's going to need to go to that waterfall area after this to get his Dark World access.
That would be interesting. If Shinmaru finds Hammer up here and PowerToMario decides to go dip into the Dark World via the Kakariko portal, could end up really having some things change on the route. And Scamfish going to scam most expensive explosives ever.
First three checks on the mountain, not really paying off for Shinmaru. We have Pendant in Thieves, Ice, and Turtle Rock is the green.
Always love seeing a pendant Turtle Rock when I don't have Ice Rock yet.
So some early powder for Shinmaru here in the first chest of Hera. And the big key to hopefully avoid having to go to Hera basement.
So if you don't find the second item up top side, do you go do Hera basement in this spot?
Probably. I probably would, only because there are so few other checks. What about you?
I have been burned by Hera basement far too many times to ever leave it behind. It has been the bane of my randomizer existence, so I will always do the basement if it's got an item, because it just feels like if I don't, I'm going to get burned. I'll spend the extra minute on it for the peace of mind. And it looks like we're setting up for a bomb jump here on Shinmaru's side. Got it nicely.
Yeah, very skillful execution there. But PowerToMario has joined Shinmaru on the mountain, even with that Dark World access.
And we have our favorite trolley boss on the right side here with Shinmaru. Gotta love a fighter sword bootsless Moldorm.
Oh, Moldorm got aggressive on that last cycle.
Yeah, as Moldorm is meant to do. There's a reason why we call him Trolldorm. PowerToMario also getting the bomb jump while Shinmaru cleans up, and oh boy, looks like we have the item in the basement.
Always a favorite. Shinmaru, quick U-turn right back into Hera.
And nicely done on PowerToMario's side. Very clean, very quick Moldorm kill.
Absolutely, did a really great job of spacing, avoiding, you know, taking those potentially trolley hits that Moldorm loves to dish out, and putting himself in position to just finish it off with relative ease again. The players are even with two crystals apiece, and PowerToMario also heading right back in. Just a piece of heart in the Hera basement. So Shinmaru knows that his options are to do these Zora flipper checks here. Whereas PowerToMario is going to be able to close out Hera basement here and head straight into Dark World. But not a massive lead at this point.
Now, both runners doing pretty much the exact same things as we see Shinmaru setting up here for Houlihan as well. And PowerToMario is basically going to have a little bit of time, mostly from that momentum fall, but a little bit from routing. So we'll see which way they go. Dark World's really going to make the big difference here, but Shinmaru's got a little bit of time to make up, but still very early.
Yeah, with the MITS access, obviously we will be starting up in the village of Outcast area, along with potentially Skullwoods. Skullwoods is fully clearable. Sure, they're not loving, 5 hearts fighter sword, but Thieves is a pendant, which is also less than ideal.
Yeah, that's a real testament of how far all the runners have come here with the Go Mode podcast. We'll see if PowerToMario goes up and tries to kill them off on 5 hearts, and yeah, is headed directly up towards Skull Woods. So we'll see. Blue Mail definitely helps here, taking a little less damage from the moss, but still fairly fragile and a lot of hits to do.
Shinmaru has picked up his gloves from Waterfall Ferry, no doubt super thrilled that's the location for his Dark World access. But he will, after Zora, be right on PowerToMario's heels, heading into Dark World.
Yes, indeed. It looks like PowerToMario going straight to the back. This low on equipment, I'd be checking the front personally, hoping for an extra sword, hoping for half magic, another heart container, just anything to help me with the fight, because you've still got so much to check.
It's been nothing but dungeon items in those 2 checks he's been able to make, so no help in any regard, but he's making that aggressive play.
Very true. We'll see if he skips the Gibdo key with pulling another key there. Looks like it's going to have 1, maybe 2 fire rod shots, picking up the... Ooh, getting bullied here in the mini Moldor moves.
I do think that both players have a green from the Waterfall Ferry, so if PowerToMario remembers that, hopefully he can put that to use if he needs it in this moth fight, which again can get super tough with Fighter Sword, even for the best players.
Oh yeah, we've seen it happen to some of the top runners, so it's definitely very possible here. And Shinmaru going into Village of Outcasts to start, grabs an extra heart container from the chest. And I'm wondering how much of the past race is weighing on the mind, because PowerToMario made a play in his first round to Pendant Moth, and that ended up having the boots, which was really the decider in that first match in the of the round. So Wondering if there's any confirmation bias going on.
Yeah, you never know. That was an absolutely wild race. Howard Mario's first round series against top-seeded Sean. They played two terrific races. Ooh, the spikes. An unfortunate death on Moth for PowerToMario, but he's headed right back in. Minus that green potion, though.
And has the game knowledge going and picking up some magic here to be able to light the torches.
Looked like Shinmaru gave a quick dip into the front four of Thieves and mirrored out. I did not catch if he picked up anything of consequence. It didn't seem so.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the trackers. I don't think there was anything there.
Tracker Akuheish is doing an amazing job, confirms that just a couple items, but nothing worth being tracked.
Alright, we'll see if PowerToMario can make it work on the second round against the Moth. Ooh, not looking good. See if he can pull it back.
Maru's doing a solid job of keeping his space from Moth, but he's just been getting caught with some unfortunate spike movement.
Ooh.
That stuff, it's just a really tough fight.
Yeah, and making the call to cut your losses. Don't bang your head against the wall. This is one of the most difficult fights in the game with 5-heart fighter sword Moth. And taking the warp and gonna head down to the portal. Doesn't have hammer though. Is going to be reminded of that shortly.
Shinmaru did not get anything off of the dig game. I did not catch what he got off the Smith turn-in, but he's going to complete the Smith chain as he does a loop, presumably at least to Hype Cave, and then potentially give a look at Pod. So these players are certainly looking for a little more firepower at this point of the race. We saw just how tricky trying to push Skullwoods is.
Very true. So we'll see if PowerToMario does the same thing, dip the front four. It being 2 items in the back, 2 items not, it's a tough call either way to want to go back.
Yeah, especially without the hammer, and again, that's another point of divergence among a lot of people within the community. Especially when Thieves is a pendant, you want to be pushing it and potentially have one extra item get locked out of your reach straight away.
Yeah, it's a tough call. And there are no right or wrong answers to these. These are just preferences too. So
yeah, that's the thing. You can make the educated guesses based on probabilities, and one day it'll work out great, and another day it just burns you. Just try to make the best decisions with the information you have, and Half magic for Shinmaru. I'm sure that he will gladly take that.
Yeah, half magic makes the moth fight significantly easier. You get a lot more shots. And PowerToMario short on money, not doing the Smith or the dig game, just because only has 5 rupees. It's gonna get flushed up in money in the in Hype Cave, but having to come back and clean those up. And while there was no progression in Purple Chest, it was another heart, and that will make the moth fight significantly more comfortable. Meanwhile, it looks like Shinmaru is going to dip the first chest here in Swamp without the hammer. What do we think of this play?
Yep. These players are going for it. I'm giving them that. If I had the gumption to make that play, there's definitely one race I've been in that I could have won that I didn't because my opponent did have that. But yeah, very interesting. Unfortunately for Shinmaru, it only pays off with a compass. So presumably, again, with those extra hearts, with that half magic that he picked up, see if he heads to the Skullwoods area, and it looks like he is headed back that direction.
One way or another, that's our only way into the Dark World still, so we got to go to the portal. Meanwhile, PowerToMario making the swim around to be able to get to Pod or the east side of the Dark World, doing the check here up on Pyramid Ledge, and then debatable if we're gonna go see Catfish. Ooh, the cape. That puts Tile Room in logic. Not really. That is just a bit of a joke in the community, and that. If that is anyone's actually listening, you do not need a cape for Tile Room, but a bit of a joke in the community just how much that cape makes that room easier. But that does put Bumper Ledge in logic, and I don't think we've seen it.
No, I don't recall it being checked. I think PowerToMario went straight up to Skull and then straight down to Village.
Ooh, this looks like a magic bat check over here on Shinmaru. With that powder and a mirror, you can get in here, and it is a very inconvenient place for Hammer to be, but we have seen it here, even recently in the tournament. But just 20 bucks this time.
Well, the two fish not really helping our players out terribly much today. Unfortunately, Catfish just a 20 that PowerToMario gave a hard pass to.
Yep. Both fishes not playing the right tuna for them.
We have still yet to see the front of Skull Woods, I believe.
That is
Shinmaru heading
correct.
through the checks that PowerToMario, or the first check at least, that PowerToMario made. That situation may change as PowerToMario has joined Shinmaru in the Skull Woods area.
Nope, heading straight to the back again. Says, I have more health, I have more magic, you're going down.
I respect it.
And we've got Vexter saying, would have gone into Pod here instead of Pyramid Catfish. Yeah, Pod's definitely looking like an attractive play. A lot of items over there. We have bow. It can't be bow locked. It's definitely probably our densest location left. So, surprising that Mario went all the way over for the swim and then did not dip into Pod.
Yeah, I kind of expected Shinmaru to potentially go that route as well. So, be interesting to hear from the players as to their thought process on that. And again, whenever you have access to a dungeon, but not full clearable access, at least for me, there's always just a little bit of doubt in your mind as to whether it's fully the right choice, but we shall see. There's still a lot to be found up in this area, potentially.
This is true. Our answer just could be front of Skull Woods, and both of our runners have just put it off for this long. There we go. PowerToMario taking revenge on the Moth. Fire Rod's down. Moth does have an item, but it's just 20 bucks. And Shinmaru taking the Moth down as well. Both are very well. Very well done.
Yeah, that was some pretty brutal spike placement and Moth hanging on the edges, and Shinmaru did a good job of hanging with it, using that half magic, as you noted, to just, again, stay on the offensive, and did a good job of just closing it out. And players, once again, even 3 crystals apiece, and we will finally see the front of Skull, and the one item that's held within.
I think both our runners going to kick themselves if it's a sword.
Game's going to make them work for that last item, too.
You ain't kidding. Do we have Big Key?
I don't believe so.
So clearly that means Big Key is going to be here.
Here we go. Oh, game. You've got jokes. All
Just
that for
10-6.
A potential positive here for PowerToMario is that he does have that cape, an item that he adores greatly, and can potentially come away with something here on Bumper Ledge that Shinmaru cannot as of yet. But it's just a fiver.
So at this point in PowerToMario's shoes, you don't have a whole heck of a lot left. You've got Graveyard Ledge, you've got he has not dipped into Thieves Town yet. Might decide to go do the back here because there's not so much left. Meanwhile, Shinmaru hasn't done anything on the east side and may just jump in after checking Graveyard Ledge and head over to Pod. So we'll see which one ends up being the right play, but I like Shinmaru's routing here better. It's you can draw a straight line through more of it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's tough, and as you noted, because of where his options currently lie, PowerToMario might feel compelled to push the back of Thieves Town, whereas Shinmaru has probably in his mind, put that off as out of sight, out of mind. I still have other options, potentially better options elsewhere.
Yeah, at this point, the progression's likely and but we all know likely and actually are two very different things. And as expected, PowerToMario headed to the back. On 2.5 hearts, has to be careful, has that cape out ready in case things hit the fan.
Shinmaru heading to clear out this catfish check makes total sense. Just get it out of the way. It is so inconvenient. Never have to come back to that area again.
Yeah, it's really never going to get better than it is right now. Get it, knock it out, and have it out of the back of your mind. Have it out of your mind. Just it's done. Don't have to worry. Oh God, is it that catfish? And my opponent already chipped. We've got another item in the back in red mail, so an extra safety here, making life a little more comfortable, but not quite what we were hoping to find.
Yeah, PowerToMario will certainly not turn his nose up at that, especially with the player still on Fighter Sword. But yeah, he's looking for progression, and here it's unbeknownst to him, but it's one item that can potentially give him an edge over Shinmaru, or otherwise, unfortunately, make this a little bit of a time sink. It is just bombs as the last item. At this point, PowerToMario pretty much committed to closing out the dungeon no matter what. But will only be rewarded with a pendant for his efforts, plus the red mail.
So doing this, we've got our what can be on PED. It could be our Meyer medallion, and it could be potentially our hookshot, depending on Ice Palace key logic. And oh no, there goes the blind script. Has that cape and a red shield, should be fun.
Yeah, but with half magic, PowerToMario making the right decision. Leave nothing to chance. Just close out that fight nice and smoothly. And again, he'll likely be following Shinmaru to Pod, with options dwindling pretty quickly. Maybe opt for the graveyard ledge check, or
PowerToMario hasn't done Smith Chain
or
yet.
the bat. Ah, that's a good point.
I mean, we know it's nothing. He also hasn't done Dig Game yet because he didn't have rupees for it. So we know that it's nothing, and the answer is going to be here in Pod. But PowerToMario cleaning up with Shinmaru is already done. So we will see what progression leads us where, and what Hammer opens a lot of things up and can have the most diversions available, but there's lots of different things can be here.
PowerToMario opting for to check the bat, which, as we knew, was nothing. We got Quake in pod, so that will pretty much leave dig game for him hanging out there. But again, it's nothing of consequence. So he will not lose any time unless he feels compelled for some reason to go chase that down.
Another green goo in the roofy basement. But still have not found a progression. Just a few more checks left. We've got Dark Maze here, and one of these two is going to be our big key. And then it's where is it? There's our hammer.
There we go.
Fully clearable pod now. Gotta love French vanilla. Oh, we must already have the big key. I missed it. So we clean up Helmasaur King. Then where do we go? Because we have so much of the world open to us. We've got Mitt's Fire Rod Flippers, so that's Ice Palace available, potentially, depending on key logic. We've got Swamp. We've got Dark Death Mountain. Where do we go?
Yeah, that's a tough decision, and again, the ice is not a super appealing option, I wouldn't think, because it's a pendant. Again, these players are skilled. Even without Icebreaker, they can no doubt navigate it with relative ease. You know, hookless, bootsless Swamp is a slog, and it would not surprise me to see the players, you know, Shinmaru first here, head to the mountain.
And looks like PowerToMario is a hard last location in pod, going to get his dig game item. And then we'll have to make his way back over there. It's a bit of a trek.
And getting the bad news that it was just 20 rupees. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, having to hula hand to get that money just to pay off Zora, and still being short when he got to the Dark World was, you know, hurt his routing a little bit. And that can happen sometimes.
Oh my, really last locationing it, even doing the dip into the front chest here in Swamp. Don't know if I agree with this play.
Helmasaur hanging pretty steady at the end of that fight for Shinmaru, allowed him to bump him full of 8 arrows and close out pod for his 4th crystal now.
And as you said, Shinmaru heading up the mountain.
And there's certainly, I'm sure, personal preference too. I mean, you do have a nice little cluster of checks here, plus the mirror, plus the mitts. Not that you'd love to do it, but you can also get that TR pendant information just in case. PowerToMario is, unfortunately, as you said, last locating pod, but on his way there, will get his hammer, will be able to close that out. But it just opens up the opportunity for Shinmaru to build a little lead, and we can see if that grows or if things get complicated.
Yeah. And I would like to correct myself, it is not technically the last location. He could have dipped the front of Pendant Base as well, but is choosing to come here to hunt first. And we have Ninjembro raiding with a party of 4. Thank you, Ninjembro and the Raiders. We are at the Go Mode Podcast. This is our Gold Sword Quarterfinals. We have PowerToMario versus Shinmaru in a standard randomized sword seed. We are a little over an hour in here, and it is finally opened up with the hammer being here in Palace of Darkness.
Shinmaru giving us our first look at Paradox Cave. Got a cane. We know where the other cane is. But we still need a ways to access it.
And 2 bottles up here in the top.
Bottle percent achieved.
All we need now is the bug net.
What some call the greatest item in the game.
Alrighty, we got 2 more checks coming here in Super Bunny. And then, presumably, I did not see what was on the floating island. And we'll likely see what's in Spike Cave as well. So far, the mountain being a bust.
Yeah, quite barren up here. And Maru heading back. Is he? Oh, Spike. Oh, he has Burna, has the hammer, so Spike Cave is in logic.
Absolutely, don't want to orphan this one behind when all of your checks are as bad as they are, and you just did not get anything from the mountain payoff. You're really hoping something's here. Bingo! We have boots.
That's a big, big get for Shinmaru here. Doesn't wildly changed checks. Obviously, those 3 quick boots checks, which could pay off, but again, huge mobility advantage. Guarantees desert's clearable when you get access to it. And he's heading right into those, as one would expect.
Oh yeah, you find boots at 1 hour and 17 in, and you're still. What are we from Go? Are we flute and a medallion from Go? Flute, medallion, and sword from Go?
Well, yeah, and then we'll get a Samaria that's off the ledge.
Oh, we also need Hook.
Ah, yes. Shinmaru likely looking to clean up, I would guess, hammer pegs here now that he has that, plus the bat, which we saw from PowerToMario.
At this point, do you do Back of Thieves Town while you're here and you need to clean if you don't find anything in hammer pegs? Or you just say it doesn't exist and leave it?
That's a tough call. Yeah, it will be interesting to know what thought process these runners have in that situation. I definitely know that working with Vortex of Doom throughout this tournament, he often expressed that sometimes these things, they don't exist anymore, as you noted. I have a hard time putting them out of my mind, but that's why we're all learning. What would you think in this situation?
Yeah, I would be dipping this at this point with how little there is left, because if I don't do it now, I'm never doing it. And if something's back here, you know, I just found boots, I just found the item to make it more convenient. Let's get it knocked out while I'm here, because you know, if that's flute, if that's, you know, there's so much that could be there still that gotta go get it. Which is good for PowerToMario. It's gonna give a little bit of time back, not a ton, because still has it, and it's very unlikely that Shinmaru will take it all the way to blind with what our pendants are and what's still needed. So I guess flute could be on pedestal too. So it's a tough call.
Yeah, for sure. Good job by PowerToMario though, closing out Pod in relatively short order. Elma decided to get a little frisky at the end there, but he stayed strong and is back on even footing crystal-wise. As these players, again, look for the myriad of items that just continue to be elusive here, despite how much they've cleared thus far.
And PowerToMario following in Shinmaru's footsteps. We'll see if he does Spike Cave first, or if he takes and goes over to the Dark Death Mountainside first. Going and doing Spike Cave first. That's going to give him one more check that Shinmaru did not have for Bunk Shot Cave. Bunk Shot. Yeah, where the hook shot could be in the first chest of Hook Shot Cave with a bonk.
Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, it's not a fun location, it's not a fun time, and I've played races in which hook shots there, so. Shinmaru is closing out Thieves Town, though.
Yeah, insurance against the pedestal seed.
It makes total sense. You've committed to that point. We will get our first look at the TR portal and medallion from PowerToMario. Don't know if it will be necessary in any way, but we'll get a look.
This is very true, and he doesn't know where the Canis Amaria is. So doesn't know that won't be able to get in here this trip, but opening it up just in case. And it looks like Shinmaru's making the pendant ice play. At this point, not a whole heck of a lot left.
No, you're pretty much, yeah, been relegated to making a push there or for Hookless Swamp.
Yeah, that's a tough decision. Hookless Swamp, where you've already checked the first item, or Caneless Pendant Ice. Those are both just decisions you don't want to have to be encountered with.
Absolutely. And the last thing, again, as you said, both players now have dipped that front of Swamp Palace. Last thing you would want to do is triple dip Swamp.
Yeah, a triple dip a swamp is a feels bad. But it is possible that, there's a fetch quest item in the back of Swamp that will lead us to the hook shot. It could be mushroomed hook shot. It could be a required double dip that will need to be a triple dip. And we get to see our favorite ancient tech rooms here. Shinmaru not getting the double off the first time, and getting it the second. We'll see if he's practices Ice Palace bomb jump.
That accessible chest in Hookshot Cave, unfortunately for PowerToMario, nothing of consequence, just another 20. Very nice job by Shinmaru with the bomb jump, though.
And smartly pulling out the cape, that firebar can be a real troll to send you back down and make you do it again. Very nice bomb strats on the Pen Gator room.
Yeah, in both the initial Pen Gator room and that one, Shinmaru showing off real skill with employing those bomb strategies. PowerToMario checking out those checks with the boots that we've seen from Shinmaru. Shinmaru here eliminating the Baris to set up one of the more interesting bomb jumps in the game.
Yes, none of this in logic here that he's doing. That bomb jump not required, but if something like Hook is in, Swamp, then this can just be to save the time to be able to take care of the rest of Ice and get it all done in one fell swoop. Silvers are nice. Not required, but nice.
That's a very nice reward.
Yeah, especially given that we are still on Fighter Sword, we would need 2 swords to be more comfortable on Ganon, so if you end up on just Master Sword, you know, having those silvers makes the fight significantly faster and easier.
Absolutely, there's few things as nervy as a Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight, especially in a tournament setting, and especially when you're in the quarterfinals of the gold bracket.
So far, Ice, oh, having our flute, an out-of-logic flute. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's really significant for Shinmaru. That is going to open up pretty much that entire Desert Mire area. We still have to see the Mire Medallion, of course, but we know we're going to get some Arya off the ledge there. So this Ice Palace play is one that has paid off in spades thus far for Shinmaru.
Very much so. And if I'm not mistaken, that means unless Hook is right here, it's not. I think that means that Hookshot must be in Swamp Palace, because I don't think there's anything else we haven't seen where it could be. And or the item that leads to Hook.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. Shinmaru, I believe, did you get just 2 items? I mean, they're obviously 2 items of massive significance, but...
I'm not sure if we got the 3rd item or not. I know we got we got silvers and the flute, so we will see.
Even on red mail, those cold stare puffs can do a number, and Shinmaru wisely using his green, break out that half magic with the fire rod and go to town. You do not want to be coming back here to take on cold stare and pendant ice for a 2nd time.
And we have a 2nd sword, so Ice Palace really with the goods. And PowerToMario struggling with the bomb jump here. I think that looks good. Yep.
Good job, just keeping his concentration, not getting frustrated. You know, as we know, hanging through this dungeon will pay off in a big way for him. Shinmaru, you know, adeptly going to activate the flute and, one would think, head straight to that Mire Desert area.
Yeah, that's Kane. That's a lot, and it could be. We'll see if we need Bombos or not. That could be in Swamp Palace, but we'll see if how much gets skipped, knowing that something has to be in Swamp Palace.
It looked like Quake.
I blinked and missed it.
It was a very quick glance by Shinmaru.
And it looks like that desert was not boots locked, so. Did not have to go to Spike Cave to get those boots. But at this point, Shinmaru is just a hook shot away from Gomo. And I'm curious if he knows the logic that it was hookshot locked. I don't know if PowerToMario knows this bomb jump.
Yeah, and he's also running into some trouble with those Baris. We're not in great position for him. Shinmaru adeptly, took them out with a couple medallion usage. Yeah, down to one bomb here.
Don't think he realizes it yet.
Yeah.
Realized it now. Oh boy.
Yeah, if you're committing to this, it might be prudent to just hop out and buy that quick bomb upgrade. Get yourself to 15.
100%, that would be the play here.
Shinmaru is heading to Landmos here. Has silver arrows. Should have a fun time. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Crystal number 5 for Shinmaru. Again, if Meyer is indeed Quake, he should have the opportunity to get to 6 here, and we will see if Hookshot is indeed, if Ice was hook locked, then it could just be sitting right there in Swamp, and you cruise to the end of your Crystal journey, at least.
And PowerToMario out of bombs again. And chat pointing out, secretly Sliver in chat pointing out that the small key in Ice TV puts all of right side in logic. And PowerToMario bouncing here, using the mirror, and looks like is a little bit stumped as to what to do. We'll see if he heads out and goes into the refill. Nope. Seems to be a little lost. This seems to be Shinmaru's game to win or lose here.
Yeah, Shinmaru is in a good position after being able to clear those areas in Ice. Obviously, 3 great finds in Ice Palace. Loot, which absolutely needed, but you get the Master Sword, which we do need as well, plus the silver arrows. He's in very strong position at this point. And we will get that check of Hookless Swamp here from PowerToMario.
Meanwhile, Shinmaru making his way through not ice, mire, excuse me, and doing so just taking care of business, searching for that big key. We've got one item so far in the big full heart container. There's the big key. And looking to do the rail clip here, and gets it successfully. Very nice.
Yeah, very impressive. Shinmaru eschewing the cutscene chest for right now, hoping to find that second item here on the right side.
Nope, it's either in cutscene or on video.
And you're one item from go. Again, this is not a fun check by any means, but also an even worse one to come back to. Makes total sense to just clear it here.
I have absolutely had the cutscene chest be my go mode item in this tournament even. So absolutely, you're here, you knock it out, especially one item.
And as we have a minor break here, just a reminder to those in chat, please give a follow to our runners, PowerToMario, Shinmaru, two outstanding guys, really fun and engaging members of the community, and terrific racers. Akuheish doing an amazing job tracking, Filistea, another outstanding player helping put on this restream, and my co-com, DeepFried 87.
Thank you for that, and obviously make sure to follow my co-com as well, AryaStark 29, as it's a ton of fun doing this, and both items have been found in Mire. We've got just 2 full heart containers, making the seed just a little healthier. Oh boy, mushroom and left side.
Well then. At 90 minutes into the race, that's definitely something to find.
The question is that going to be our hook shot, or is that going to be something like book, which then leads us to so many more questions.
And unfortunately for PowerToMario doesn't have that Master Sword to even make avail of the book, save for reading the tablets.
That would get him into Desert, though, which would be his Samaria, which would make the second dip back into Ice significantly faster.
That is true, yes. Excellent point.
That's nothing. Oof. What haven't we seen? Have we seen checkerboard? Because I'm starting to be for a loss.
I thought that Shinmaru actually gave us checkerboard. So, Turtle Rock?
Turtle Rock.
That's about it. But I gotta think that, well, Shinmaru, they do have the flute now. Will Shinmaru head to... He is heading to, Turtle Rock, which is quite likely the correct play. I mean, actually, probably the only play.
Yeah, only play at this point, and PowerToMario looks stumped. Doesn't realize that the small key from Ice Tea Room puts the right side in logic. So we'll see where he ends up heading. Because this is, you know, you've just failed at the bomb jump, think something's out of logic. At this point, gotta run back in because there's literally no other checks left. But man, oh man, it's a feels bad.
Oh, absolutely. And again, as we say, we're here in the announcing booth trying to figure out what checks are even left. And these players are, 93 minutes into a seed. They have to be sweating a whole bunch here.
Mario making the right call to go back into place. Hopefully realizes he has the key to be able to just go over and do the right side, but we need to find that hook shot somewhere, and it's not on left side spawn. Gotta be up here in Turtle Rock or led to from Turtle Rock.
Shinmaru gonna do that one check in Hookshot Cave that we saw from PowerToMario, but it will not be anything of consequence.
It's going to be a heck of an interview after the game. We got a lot of... Oh, did Mario just accidentally mirror?
Oh, no. Ice Palace has just not been kind to PowerToMario today. It happens.
We've all been there.
And again, this is just game one of a best-of-3 series between these two. So, up to 2 more games that they could be playing.
Ooh, and Shinmaru forgetting that I don't have the hook jump. Taking the long way around in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's just the muscle memory kicking in. Being so used to heading into TR with that hook. And you unfortunately have to do the scenic route.
I'd have at least $1 if I had a nickel for every time I've done that.
I'd probably be the same spot.
Mario with one shot at the bomb jump and nails it.
And that's good for him because it was his last bomb.
There we go, picking up an 8-bomb pack. Let's see if he realizes he has a key in this room. He does. Oh, good.
There we go.
The question for PowerToMario. You end up getting... now you gotta go. Do you feel behind? Do you get that flute? Do you bounce before Cold Stare? Or do you leave and hope that you can pick up some time?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. And one that, yeah, at that point I am probably taking it to Cold Stare. But it's totally reasonable. Again, you're this deep in the seed, you finally found that progression you're hoping for to try to bounce and gain some time back. What would you think in this kind of spot?
If I took 2 deaths to Moth, had to leave Ice Palace because I was out of bombs. Yeah, I would personally, if I'm feeling that, I gotta make a play because I feel super behind. I'm taking that flute and praying that I can make a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's totally reasonable. And those kind of tough breaks, they happen to everybody, as we said earlier. And there you go, got that flute and bouncing.
Now, if Hookshot's on pedestal, that's just going to make things even more difficult because that could be me.
Yeah, and I guess we'd have to be seeing Ice Rod at some point soon if that's the case.
Oh, well, it's going to be in its rando vanilla location on the last chest in Laser.
Yeah. icerod.laserbridge.meme. And there is Hookshot.
And that is officially go mode for Shinmaru at 138.58. That is a late go mode.
Yeah, he is no doubt feeling it here. Has no idea that he is actually in a really great position. But you get to that 138 point and finally find your go mode sitting in Mimic Cave of all places. Eesh.
Yeah, Mimic Cave with a green pendant. Feels bad.
So at this point, again, coming up on about 140 into this race, do you even consider making these quick checks along the way for another sword? Or are you content with going Master Sword Silvers here?
If I am on Master Sword Silvers, I'm going to open every chest that is in the room that I'm going to be in. I am not going to go out of my way for chests, but if the chest is in the room, it is going to save enough time that I am going to hope to find the item I need. Not need, but would make my Ganon fight much faster, much more secure.
Yeah, that's a general mindset I take to it too. And again, being able, Shinmaru will be able to push the back here in go mode, and avoid that left side swamp area, which is extra good news for him. And in swamp, again, a couple of these chests do just fall in your lap, so you do have the opportunity to potentially pick up a few free checks in Ganon's Tower. We never know how things lay out, so there is still the opportunity to upgrade from that Master Sword.
And Mario is definitely going to be doing it because he is still on Fighter Sword, does not have his Master Sword come off of Cold Stare.
Yeah, definitely not a friendly location for that, that's for sure.
Well then, bookend big key in the round.
2 items we will never use.
Yeah.
Lambo's getting a little slippery here against PowerToMario, but he uses Fire Rod to close it out after narrowly missing on a couple of the arrow shots. That is crystal number 5 for him.
And we got spin strats over on Argus. And 1, 2, 3, and a spin. Very nicely done for the last phase. That's going to be our 7th crystal. So then the question here is, we got a game we like to guess here. Now that we have our 7th crystal, where do we think the Ganon Sound Big Key is? Get your guesses in chat, 1 through 22.
Oh, after a seed like this, I don't know. I don't know if we can be as harsh as chat can be sometimes wishing on that 22.
Nah, I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say it's over in likely in Stalfos.
I'll go with 2. PowerMario has made his way to Mire. Again, he's still on the lookout for that hook shot that we know is just nowhere close to Mire.
Yeah, but it's a fully clearable crystal dungeon. Gotta do it. Makes sense to get it done while you're here and never come back.
Absolutely. And again, he's one from go. He's probably gonna get compelled to do cutscene chest. But Shinmaru he's opened up a very substantial lead. It's an interesting call from Shinmaru, trying to bang out the rest of Hookshot Cave before heading into GT. 3 relatively quick checks.
Yeah, and with how much you've
although
cleared
again,
a
at
game,
144, that's tough.
Yeah, with how much you cleared of the game, 3 checks, high likelihood there's a sword somewhere in there. I understand wanting to get that. Alright, Shinmaru going left to start. Not going to the Hope Room. Bye bye Bob, got a small key on the torch for number 1. Small key for 2, 20 rupees for 3. Tempered sword for 4, and another small key for 5. So we do get our tempered sword. Makes the Ganon fight that much easier.
Yeah, certainly sure a nice little exhale from Shinmaru if he can muster one at this point of a race. He's probably feeling it. And that was 6.
I will take my free internet points, thank you. I think that's only the second time I've ever gotten that.
Just don't spend them all in the one place. You have to meet those out properly.
Oh no, I'm going to spend all of them at ALTTPR.com. That's where all the internet points are going to go.
Sounds good. Shinmaru making quick work of the mimics. Very efficient. Using that cave to just cruise through the spikes. Or, actually, I don't even know if he activated it. We'll use it on the cannonballs, though. Crystal number 6 for PowerToMario. Had no trouble with Vitreous. Very efficient silver arrow fight. And we'll likely be heading up to TR to get that unfortunate news as to where Hookshot's been hanging out.
Oh, PowerMario didn't do over in Meyer shit yet. Grabbing a couple pieces of heart.
Very nice job by Shinmaru on Landmo's too there. He got hit and was still able to recover. The game sometimes likes to eat your arrow inputs after you take a hit or something up there, and he hung tough and got through it in one cycle anyway.
Yeah, and Shinmaru doing a really good gauntlet here. Like, execution on this, pretty solid. So.
Shinmaru's made an excellent time on this climb here. No trouble with Moldorm 2.
Moldorm hiding tons of money in there, not just the usual 20 bucks. Moldorms must have been investing.
Shinmaru's run is officially valid too, so that's great news.
Ooh, PowerToMario getting smacked down by Barry.
That's just rude.
Look like 2 over on Shinmaru's side. Ooh, nothing on the second round. Agonometry is hard.
It is. I dropped that class in college.
Wait, they offer agonometry in college? Man, I missed that.
Yeah, it's brutal.
There we go. That's a nice setup. Aga 2 down. Going to kill the pig.
Tempered sword, silvers, red mail, plenty of safeties. Has something still in the bottles. Shinmaru is in excellent position here to close out a win on a very tough seed.
Yeah, very much so. Just misses the first one. Ooh, gets it up into the free corner, up in the corner, up here in the top right. Favorite place for Ganon to end. Gets those silvers out in phase 3. First down. One more arrow for the pig. Alrighty, and the pig is down. Get your GGs in chat for Shinmaru, finishing the seed with an official race time .gg time of 1:53:06. What a race!
Pretty remarkable. Very, very rough seed. But Shinmaru made some very clever calls, and his execution was on point throughout this race.
Yeah, the moth deaths were a big thing, and that getting that hook shot bomb jump was the other big key to this one here. And we are joined in stream here with our winner Shinmaru and PowerToMario. GG's both of you. The seed cannot hurt you anymore.
Thank you, Seed, for sparing me.
I'm ready for this catharsis.
Oh man, good job, Shin.
Yeah, GG to you, man. Oh. I legitimately don't think there was a moment in this seed other than maybe the beginning, the very beginning, where I felt comfortable. It just all felt bad from like kind of iffy beginning execution to when just like bad choices started piling on bad choices, and it's just
yeah.
Yeah, there really weren't many good choices to be had in this seed, to be fair though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I realized after, because I went to do Skull Woods, and it wasn't the 2 deaths on Moth that got under my skin, because honestly, I knew it was a low percent fight. If I don't get the first 2 times, I said, okay, if second time it doesn't work, you go and do the rest of your checks, get a safety next time you come in, and then do it again. But after going to Pod, I realized after doing Pod with Bo that, hey, Kern Jump and Mimic Clip would have been really handy there, because Hammer's bow locked, and yeah, Kern Jump to get there faster, and then without Bow, you could have had the hammer and brought it in with you to do other things, but yeah. I don't know. I felt okay up until hour 20, and then just everything got really tilted, actually. Everything kind of fell apart.
So the first question I have for you, PowerToMario, is when you went over and did Pyramid Legend Catfish, why did you skip Pod at that time?
No idea. I don't have any explanation for that. I guess really it's silly because no hammer. Oh well, the hammer could be in Crystal Pod. That's probably a better dip than dipping a pendant dungeon, because if you dip there and you're able to clear, cool. If you don't have Bow and you dip there and you have the hammer, then you can do a lot of these other Dark World checks all together without having to go back and last location a bunch of things. I don't remember. Did I have Bow at that point when I went to Pyramid Ledge?
Pretty sure, yeah, you both had Bow. Bow was...
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah,
'cause
you
what
got
was
Bo
Bo
out
had
of
cave?
Mimic. Yeah, Bo was in Mini Moldorm because
Oh, Mini Moldorm. Okay.
you bounced right out of Mini Moldorm and went straight to Eastern.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. I don't know why. I just. Yeah. I think honestly, after the whole Ice Palace debacle, my brain was on fire. My body was on fire, and inside, I let it out a little bit on stream. Just like, this is what happens when you get tilted. Because I mean, even in this seed, Shin pulled it off, finished the seed. But even in something like this, if you just keep your head on straight, you can still give yourself an opportunity to win. And I've not been in a situation like this, so this is part of Mentor Tournament. Is you're not just learning how to play the game, but you're also learning how to play the tournaments too. And at least for me, this is a seed where I let the tournament play me towards the end, and I could have given myself a better opportunity to make it close, and just yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now, Shinmaru, did you know that the right side was in logic finding that small key in iced tea? Because we weren't sure here in the booth, and we had to have chat correct us. Did you realize that everything you had gotten was technically in logic?
Yeah, I was kind of like, that's kind of the big thing. I was wondering, I was like, is this hook locked or not? Could I find anything? Could I find hook shot with anything I get in here? And obviously, like, nothing in there led to hook shot, I don't think. But it was definitely on my mind as I was kind of like rummaging through.
Well, you ended up getting flute in the big chest, which led to Kane, which led to TR for your hook. So that was fully required to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm honestly, the sword was also big. The sword on Cold Stare. I'm not sure. There was a sword on. There was a sword on Cold Stare. And
I had
honestly,
a feeling you had to finish that dungeon. Dang it!
I'm not sure I would have finished it had I not made that absolutely terrible Thieves play first, and was hoping to get bailed out by it being Ped. Like, I think if I had just gone to Ice first, like I planned before I got those boots, then I think I would have just left after Flute.
Man, good job. That's wonderful.
But I got those boots, and it like completely changed my plans and really threw me off. I went to, like, the whole time I was saying to myself when I was at these, like, I hate this play. This play is so bad. I don't like anything about this. This is so terrible. And it just, I felt so behind after doing that bad Thieves play. I think that was like the peak of my discomfort, I think. It's just like, this nothing I'm doing right now feels in any way good.
Yeah, for most of this seed, that's the way that we were commenting here in the booth. Is the same thing. It was just a lot of, we're trying to put ourselves in your shoes and just feeling uncomfortable. You have a lot of bad checks. Do we need to dip this pendant dungeon? And again, like your thought process there of heading back into Thieves because you're having to guard against Ped because things have become so disparate at that point.
Yeah, it wasn't even Ped on my mind at that time. I felt obligated after I got those boots to chase them. So I did like King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks. And I'm like, well, I'm here. I should do Hammer Pigs. Well, I'm in the Dark World. I guess I do Thieves. And it's just like, it felt like I was doing it because I felt obligated out of like, for efficiency's sake, rather than this is what I want to do and this is my plan. And I feel like, just like kind of like PowerToMario was saying about, stuff he's overcoming, I feel like that kind of mindset is part of what I have to overcome to turn it, like knowing when I should stick to my plans and not just like letting just like kind of whims dictate what I should do.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, one thing that also stood out for me, like Shinmaru, we talk about that Ice Palace play. Like your use of those bomb strats was exceptionally impressive to me. The Pangator rooms, the bomb jumps, it was all on point. Is that something that you've worked on over the course of this tournament?
A little bit. I also I know I have a lot of good friends who play a lot of cross keys and have helped me a lot of that stuff. Like, Homemade Beer is a good friend. Mr. 3, The second Pen Gator bomb kill, I saw Magnet Hands do that, and I've been using that lately. So it's just stuff I picked up from friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's what this tournament is all about: is getting better, finding the weak points in your game, and learning what bomb jumps, what strats you need to practice on. Because the PowerToMario I know struggled with the hookshot bomb jump there, and that's going to be one
Yeah.
I'm sure on the list to be able to practice and learn. So whole point of the tournament here, even in bracket mode, is to be able to get better and to learn. So absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely a seed. I will for sure take to the shop and just dissect it and, tighten up everything, and especially mindset. Like, wow, it does have an impact. Like, it's a contrast from like my last round, my first game. It was a 2 hour plus seed for both myself and Sean. And it's easy to like see the timer go up and up and up and up and up and think, oh man, I'm doing bad. Oh man, I'm doing bad. My opponent must be doing better. And you can't let yourself get there. You have to just I think for the most part, you just have to be confident in your own ability and your own ability to win. And this is just one of those times where, okay, this is a lesson in belief. There's also obviously some lessons in routing. Like I went to that portal in Thieves Town so many times. I know it's Mitt's opener, but it's still that was a rough one. That was way too many. Right. I try, we'll talk about I'm gonna definitely talk about mine.
But again, this is just game 1 of a best of 3. Have you guys decided on a date for your second matchup?
And we are
I think Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday, I think 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yep.
PowerToMario.
Loser picks next seed, right?
Seed cannot hurt you anymore.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you. All right, we're doing open assured sword, so get ready, Shin.
Okay.
All right. Any final thoughts from either of the runners on this heck of a seed?
No, well done, Shen. I'm looking forward to looking at your ice palace and copying you.
Okay, go for it, man. We're all learning. GG to Mario again, and just sprinkle a little holy water on this seed and give it a nice little fire send off, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really weren't many good choices to be had in this seed, to be fair. All right. Well, in that case, thank you to Filistea for the restream, Akuheish for the clicking of the buttons behind the scene, Go Mode Podcast for putting this whole thing on, and my co-com AryaStark29 for getting us through this seed here with an enjoyable calming experience. GG's the PowerToMario, GG's the Shinmaru.
Do the rest of your chats.
Any final words, Arya?
Next time you come in.
It was a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to work with you, DeepFried, and congrats tonight, Shin. And hope that you guys have another great one on Saturday.
Kern jump and
just a little bit nicer though.
Just a little bit.
Doesn't have to be too nice.
Don't put the hook shot there again, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
Kern jump to get there faster, and then without Bo, you could have had the hammer and brought it in with you to.
Alrighty, in that case, that'll do it for us. Have a good night, everyone.
I don't know. I felt okay up until hour 20, and then just everything got really tilted. Actually, everything kind of fell apart.
So the first question I had for you, PowerToMario, is when you went over and did Pyramid Legends at Fish, why did you skip pop that time?
No idea. I don't have any explanation. I guess really, it's silly because no hammer. Oh well, the hammer could be in Crystal Pod. It's probably a better dip than dipping a pendant dungeon, because if you dip there and you're able to clear, if you don't have bow and you dip there and you have the hammer, then you can do a lot of these other Dark World checks all together without having to go back and last location a bunch of things. I don't remember. Did I have bow at that point when I went to Pyramid Ledge?
Pretty sure, yeah, you both had bow. Bow was...
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah,
you got
was
bow
bow
out
at
of
cave.
Mimic. Yeah, bow was in Mini Moldorm.
Oh, man.
Bounced right out of Mini Moldorm and went straight to Eastern.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. I don't know why. I just. Yeah. I think honestly, after the whole Ice Palace bomb,